My sisters, my brothers, the Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. Luke.
Glory to you, O Lord.
The apostles said to the Lord, "Increase our faith." The Lord replied, "If you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you would say to the mulberry tree, 'Be uprooted and planted in the sea,' and it would obey you. Who among you would say to your servant, who has come in from plowing or tending sheep in the field, 'Come here immediately and take your place at the table'? Would he not rather say to him, 'Prepare something for me to eat. Put on your apron and wait on me while I eat and drink. You may eat and drink when I am finished'? Is he grateful to the servant because he did what he was commanded? So should it be with you. When you have done all that you have been commanded, say, 'We are unprofitable servants. We have done what we were obliged to do.'" The Gospel of the Lord.
Thanks be to God. You're good. Good morning, once again. Hope you enjoyed the nice little rain shower coming into church. I got caught on it on a bike ride this morning. That was exciting. To help us to understand the readings this morning, I'd like to turn our attention to the church's calendar for just a second. Every October 2nd in the Church-Erie, with the exception of when it falls on days, we celebrate what's called the Feast of the Guardian Angels. Now, next to the Christmas season, this span of 6 or 7 days, from 3 days ago to next Friday, which is Our Lady of the Rosary, are these interesting, sometimes odd people that we recognize as saints on this span of feast days. And today, as I said, if it wasn't a Sunday, if you would come to Mass on that day, it would be the Feast of the Guardian Angels. Now, the very meaning of the word angel means God's messenger. God's messenger. And everyone, as our tradition tells us from Scripture, has a guardian angel that is always fighting for us. These angels, these creatures were created not as rational beings like ourselves, but they were created with one purpose, and that is to see the face of God and to ever glorify His name. To see the face of God and to ever glorify His name. These angels, there are different ranks of them, as our tradition tells us, or piety tells us, but these angels are able to see the face of God and to ever glorify God, but also, particularly for the guardian angels, they're on our side, always fighting for us at the table of God's throne in heaven. Now, what makes us different from angels is 3 things. We have free will. We have the power of choice, and we also have a conscience. But what ultimately sets us apart from any angels or these beings that are made to specifically glorify God is that we, you and I, have been made specifically and particularly in His image. Each and every one of us as an individual have been made in the image of God. That's what sets us apart from any other creatures, from any other created things of God. And then within that, since we are made in God's own image, we are given free will, the power of choice, and a conscience. But these angels are always fighting alongside God for us in heaven. Now, why is this important? What does this have to do for us this morning? Well, they help illustrate and help us to understand faith. And faith in its essence, as St. Paul tells us this morning, is strength, love, and wisdom found in God. And notice what the root word is. It's love. For it's love that gives us strength, and it's love that will give us wisdom. That's what faith is. Faith is rooted in love. What do we love? In other words, is what the question of faith is asking us this morning. If we are these human being creatures that are made with the power of choice, conscience, and free will, that means then that we have the power to choose faith or to not choose faith. We have the power within our own being to say, okay, God, I consent to what you are asking of me, or to say, no, God, I don't want any part of it. That's the essence of faith, but it's rooted in love. And so how we make the difference between something that is just of ourselves and of our God is always found in the power and meaning and understanding of love. And love at its core, as faith tells us, is always other-centered, meaning that if we are looking to do God's will, it is not just about what's going to benefit us and what's going to make us happy all the time, but it's about what's going to give God glory and serve others, and then ultimately help ourselves find peace and happiness as well. You follow me thus far? Okay, good. That is why Jesus said in this morning's gospel, just have faith. Just have faith. If you have faith the size, as Jesus said, of a mustard seed, which is one of the smallest seeds known to man, then you have all you need. You have all the power before you in your fingertips. You have the great majesty of God that is open to you and to me. God knows the struggles that we go through. God knows the sins that tempt us. God knows that everyday life is not always full of what we think is angels and roses and daisies. It's not this little picture of heaven of these little chubby creatures flying around with wings and looking like baby creatures. He knows our real struggles. He knows the sadness that we encounter. He knows the doubts that we face. He knows. But he also knows that if we have been made in his image, he will not force, even out of love in faith, his own will upon you and upon me. But if you have faith, that conscious choice of wisdom, love, and mercy, you have everything. This choice is not to be taken up only of saying, well, you know what? I'm a Christian, I'm a Catholic, good enough for me. I punch my card by going for 45 minutes to an hour on Sunday morning and back out into the Steelers game. That's not what he's saying. That's part of it. The other part of it is that faith is a conscious choice to be lived out. To be lived out in every moment that we have. And the good thing about all this is that God gives us every day to write that book of faith in our own life. And he also gives us the eraser of his mercy for the time that we mess up. That's the choice that is before us in faith of having faith the size of a mustard seed. My friends, we cannot sit idly by and wait for God to wait for God's grace. But we are called daily to make that choice to serve him and to see his grace working in our lives and to share that with all that we meet. We are called every day to make that conscious choice of faith, focusing our life on what is meant to serve God and to serve others. All these lessons that we hear in these last couple of weeks from this scripture, from the Gospel of Luke, come as Christ was going to the cross, making that final ascent to Jerusalem. That's important for us to remember as we unpack the word daily in our life, because sometimes we come here feeling like we are making that ascent to our own Calvary in Jerusalem as well. But even in that moment, Jesus Christ even said, all you need is faith the size of a mustard seed. We are reminded of this as we carry our own crosses. And remember, nowhere in Scripture did Jesus promise all the answers would be given to us. Nowhere in Scripture did Jesus say that life would be easy. But he did say, with God and with faith, all things are possible. Faith never makes life easy, but faith will make it possible if we let it. May we take these words and let them grow as a mustard seed in our heart, so that the smallness of our own lives may grow into a great gift to the glory of God, to all that we meet, all that we serve, and that they too may see the power of faith alive in this world. Let us stand and profess our faith.